Well, hey guys, welcome back to the channel today. Today I wanted to show you guys some batteries that I've been running for a little while now. And full disclosure, Lowe's sent me this box right here, and this is what all's in it. But the truth of the matter is, I already had 6 of these PowerStacks prior to Lowe's sending me this out. So they also just sent me this with no requirements to even mention this on a video or anything. This is just something they gifted to their Lowe's ambassadors. So what is cool about that is they sent bits, they sent a saw, a drill, and brand new blade on the saw. So what I was thinking, we're going to test this stuff, all right? And I put out a little short a few weeks ago to find out what you guys thought would be good tests for the Dewalt PowerStack. So in running these tests, my first set of tests, I am ripping a 10-foot, well, it's about 10 foot, half an inch, as you'll see here. We are ripping that with both a PowerStack and a brand new 2 amp hour standard style battery, which they fortunately sent me in here, since I think everything else I've had has been a 1.5. So these batteries here, a Dewalt PowerStack, if you've looked on the bottom of them, these are a 1.7 amp hour battery. So with 30.6 watt hours, it says here, where we're comparing this to a 2 amp hour of the old style battery, the non-stacked lithium style. So what's important about that is this is not only a smaller battery in terms of amp hours, it's also a much smaller footprint of a battery. So when you put this on your tool, it just doesn't stick out, you know, all over the place. So they sent me this drill here, and if you put a PowerStack here on the bottom, you can see that it's literally the actual size of the footprint of the drill. You don't have a battery sticking off to the sides, the back, you know, anything. It's not a kind of an oversized situation going on. It's really, really handy, to be honest. Well, we all know I don't really run DeWalt drills that much anymore. Everything I run is pretty well Festool drills, and lately we've been giving the Flex tools a really good run. And that video is going to be coming up really shortly. Probably sometime here in June of 2022. So if you haven't seen that, and it's after that time, go hunt that video down. You can see some Flex tools run and what we thought about them. We are doing kind of what I would consider real world tests. We're ripping boards, and instead of, you know, just shoving these things as hard as we can, you know, when you're cutting with a battery operated saw, there's a sweet spot when you're cutting where you can really feel that saw eat like it's supposed to. Well, that's what we're going to be doing with it here in these tests. I'm going to be feeling for that sweet spot where it's cutting perfectly and giving the saw every chance it can to get as many feet as possible out of it. So we're ripping 2x6 by 10 foot. We're going to show you here exactly how each of those tests run. We're going to do 2 tests, each with the PowerStack, and 2 tests with the regular 2 amp hour battery running the circular saw. Everybody runs a drill and sees how many holes they can punch in something. We may do that too, but I wanted to see not only how much power it has just on real fast processes like drilling a hole, but what does it have in actual full drain type of processes like ripping long framing lumber. To me, that's something that really puts a lot more strain on a battery than a quick little hole through a board. So we can do both though for y'all. It's for science, am I right? Well, anyway, this does not have to be the last test of these batteries, and I'll be upfront with you. I have no investment in being nice to these, okay? So if you guys know a test, a legitimate test, we're not cutting one in half with a table saw or something. If you guys have a test that you'd like to see that you use these for on the job site, and I have the ability to recreate it, I'd love to do that for you. But let's jump into this footage and see how these tools actually held up right here. You'll also get a look at a little more of my shop from another angle that you rarely get to see. This ripping test on a 2x6, the 2x6 is 10 feet and a half an inch long, and we are just going as smoothly as possible through it and seeing how many inches we get. I'm adding up the 120 and a half inches for each full rip that's completed, and then I'm measuring at the end how far they got on their last rip, and then I'm adding up all those inches and putting an inch total here on the screen for you now. And hopefully that'll help you guys see exactly how far these get even when under load. Make your own decision here about which one you like the best. I'm as curious as you are. That's why we're doing these tests. The other thing here that's kind of interesting to me is the actual heat of the batteries compared to each other. I went ahead and threw the temperature gun on these so you can see this is a fluke temperature gun, and take these batteries straight off the saw and hit them with that laser and let you know exactly. I'm finding around with the laser to find the hottest point on the back of the battery. The tops here seem to be about 20-25 degrees cooler than the bottom. So right in this area gets what seems to be the hottest to me, especially just to your feel. You can really feel that get hot on the bottom. And I want to show you here exactly how hot each battery has been after each test. So you can kind of see how the PowerStack runs and how the older style batteries run in temperature. But one of the requests we had was to rip 3/4 plywood at a 45-degree bevel and see how many feet we can rip at that angle with the circular saw. So we're going to go ahead and do that now, show you guys exactly how far we get on a sheet of plywood as well. Might throw some bits through this drill and go ahead and see how it holds up. I will put right on the screen exactly how each test performed, so you guys can actually see right during the test, as soon as it's completed, how many feet plus how many inches did that saw make it, how many holes did that drill. We're going to find out. And now for the PowerStack battery with a 1-inch spade bit into a 2x6. Let's see how many holes we can get. Man, guys, 50.5 holes with the PowerStack battery in the 1-inch auger bit versus 32.25 with the non-PowerStack. That's pretty clear right there to me. I'm sure you can get a little variation the more of these tests you run, but with the difference we had on the straight ripping test, running all that 2 times, I think it's fairly clear to me that even though we have a smaller amp hour battery, we're getting a lot more, not only power, but longer runtime. And the noticeable bit for me is how long the power remains the same. On a small battery, you know, you hit that little threshold where you can feel the tool start to weaken a lot quicker, generally. But with these PowerStack batteries, it seems like they're able to pull full power until they're almost completely dead. Where this 2 amp hour battery, sometimes just briefly into the test, it's hard to see it with the camera and the speeding up I'm having to do in order to keep this video from being an hour long, but I can feel in my hand the tool weaken sometimes halfway into these rips, these 10-foot long rips. By the 5th foot, I can feel the saw already weakening. And the 2 amp hour battery is only getting a little bit over 1 rip on this board, versus the PowerStack goes strong through 2 full rips and then goes to dead on the 3rd. So that's a fairly significant difference. Hopefully you guys got some goodie out of this video, and it'll help you make a decision on your upcoming batteries. And hopefully Dewalt will go ahead and come out with these in a more usable size. Something like a 5 amp hour would be fantastic to see. Let me know what you think of how these batteries performed. I've put all these tests out there, and in my opinion, it's fairly definitive which one is getting a lot more done. And it really impressed me in this video how far a PowerStack with 1.7 amp hours was able to rip in this lumber versus the 2 amp hour. So hopefully you guys got a little opportunity to see a comparison between these 2 batteries and can let me know what y'all think. I'm very curious. Leave me a comment down there. They're just little batteries, but I wanted to know, and I bet a few of y'all did too.